Welcome back to another video, everybody. We are witnessing yet another absolutely crazy day in the market. After oil was making that historic move to the upside last evening, a lot of investors started to prepare for a Black Monday situation or scenario unfolding today. Now, given all of the crazy things that we have seen over the last couple of weeks here, the escalation in the Middle East, oil prices absolutely skyrocketing, again, with all of the implications of those moves and events, we would actually expect to see the market be trading a lot lower if these were normal times or normal environments. But obviously, these are not normal times and these are not normal environments here. So I want to go over with you guys exactly, again, what is actually driving this market right now, because these are things that all investors and market participants need to know and understand in order to protect themselves moving forward here into the next couple of weeks. We're going to be covering all of the new updates that we have so far on the situation with oil here. What steps are these countries taking to actually limit these price spikes in oil, and if they're actually going to engage in those types of actions over the next couple of days here. And we're also going to be covering two really key sectors of the market here that are actually still performing very well despite all of these crazy uncertain conditions here. So before we get into all of that information, guys, if you guys do enjoy the information and analysis that I provide for you guys in these videos here, make sure you go down and hit that like button. It costs you nothing to do it, but it helps me out a whole lot in spreading this information out to as many people who actually want to learn. If you're not subscribed yet, make sure you guys are, and turn on notifications so you're notified every time these videos do end up getting posted live. But without further ado, let's get right into it here and just take a look at the chart of oil here. So obviously, from Friday's close at around that $91 area, we had a pretty significant gap up here all the way to about 98, and then we ran all the way as high as $119 here on oil. This was a very, very scary move, and the implications of this, as we're going to talk about, especially when it comes to inflation, are very, very grim. But we did see some very interesting pieces of news coming out on actions that some other countries here could be taking in the very near future in order to limit this parabolic move in oil. So the G7 countries are considering a joint release of oil from reserves, potentially as much as 400 million barrels as oil prices skyrocket. Details include the release would be potentially coordinated by the International Energy Agency. 3 G7 countries, including the US, have so far expressed support for the idea. US officials believe a joint release in the range of 300 to 400 million barrels is appropriate. G7 countries currently hold 1.2 billion barrels of oil in the reserve. Now, this is what was going out last night, but throughout the day today, we actually saw more reports that these types of actions here are not going to be engaged in. So they are not going to be draining right now any of these reserves just yet. And then throughout the day today, we did receive a couple of more updates from the Trump administration on what they are looking to do, some of the other avenues that they are willing to take in order to limit these crazy movements in the oil market. So options under discussion with the G7 and US agencies include releasing strategic reserves, limiting exports, intervening in futures, waiving taxes, and easing the Jones Act. So for those unfamiliar with what the Jones Act is, it requires that all goods transported by water between US ports be carried on ships that have been constructed in the United States and that fly the US flag, are owned by US citizens, and are crewed by US citizens and US permanent residents. So what the goal of easing the Jones Act would effectively lower the cost of transportation of oil. But what this doesn't do is actually target the main reasons why we are seeing oil prices so significantly moving to the upside. And moving back over here, again, the Strait of Hormuz, which carries about 20% of global oil. Again, this is an issue of supply and demand. Supply is being restricted in this area of the world and driving oil prices significantly higher. And then obviously, with oil remaining at these elevated levels, there are a lot of pretty grim implications of this. When we come over and take a look at this chart that was posted about a week and a half ago here, if oil hits 95, CPI inflation can rise all the way back up to 3.2%. At 110, we could see inflation at 3.5%, 130, 3.9%, and at 150, 4.3%. That would put significant pressure on US consumers, US businesses, and overall global growth as a whole. So obviously, this is very bad. This would cause markets to significantly move to the downside here if we were to see that massive inflationary surge. But this is where we get into this conversation of Well, why aren't we seeing markets effectively price this in? We're seeing right now the S&P 500 only down about 0.5% after this massive move that we saw to the upside in oil. And one of the things that we need to start looking for is where money is actually starting to flow. What we're looking at on the chart right now is SCO. This is an inverse oil ETF, and I want you guys to pay close attention to this area down here. This is obviously volume, and we are seeing a massive spike at the lows on this inverse oil ETF. And this volume spike, as you guys can see here, is the largest spike that we have seen in the history that this product has been available to be traded here. When you see giant volume spikes at lows and giant volume spikes at highs, that is typically a sign that a reversal is going to be coming in the very near future here. So what we have heard out of the Trump administration and everything so far is that they are fully prepared to let this go on for a couple of weeks. And the guidance that they've given to everybody is that they do not want this conflict to become, again, another Iraq, another, again, a severe Middle East situation that is going to require boots on the ground from the United States here. So what we are really dealing with across the board, and this is something that I posted on my X account today, is that this is a giant standoff between the market and overall sentiment as a whole and the Trump administration, mainly Donald Trump here. Everybody right now in the market is thinking about the fact that we could easily be in for a taco situation. For those of you guys unfamiliar with that term, taco stands for Trump always chickens out. So initially, the playbook has always been, again, we saw this with tariffs, we've seen this with many other situations in the past, that Donald Trump will come out, engage in very aggressive action in order to accomplish a couple of his goals. He will consistently ramp up that action until his goals are met, declare victory, and completely back off. And the market right now is used to a lot of that type of behavior out of Donald Trump. And again, like I was saying before in the video at the beginning, this is one of the reasons why these are different scenarios and different environments that we have been in the past, because the market is looking for something different out of this administration than they would any other administration in history. The other concept that we need to keep in mind in this environment here, especially as it relates to this standoff narrative that we have between the Trump administration and the overall market, is this concept of a White House put. Or in other words, there's a max pain point in the market here that is going to cause the administration to significantly change the way that they are acting and approaching this situation in the Middle East. So let's say it's a 10% drawdown in the overall equity market or in the S&P 500. If we start breaching those levels, we will start to see even more, let's say, positive or de-escalation actions out of the Trump administration. Now, we don't know exactly where that point is, but the problem that we then get into here is with that standoff and with investors knowing the Trump playbook is that they are continuously buying these dips off of these lows here, not necessarily letting the market get down to, again, that put area or that max pain point for this administration, giving this administration the ability to continue if they want to. So this is why I was saying on X a couple of days ago that, again, the S&P 500 could easily be something that we could look for to get a good understanding of where that White House put could actually be, but it also can occur in the oil market there too, where investors are going to look forward towards what the economic data is going to look like over the next few months and say, ooh, this actually might be at a significant breaking point here that could then cause equities to sell even further. That is then what could cause more White House intervention or de-escalation here as well. And we are seeing more and more comments coming out today in support of this potential taco narrative, such as this one right here. Israeli officials are growing concern from the Washington Post. A few senior officials in Israel are starting to voice concern about the escalating open-ended attack on Iran and suggesting possible exit ramps that might halt the war before it further damages the region and global economy here. That is exactly why we are starting to see the bond market catch a significant bid off of the lows here today, and also risk assets such as Bitcoin performing very well. Bitcoin at the current time that I'm recording this video here is up 3.8% on the day. So the whole narrative here really at the end of the day is that the market thinks that this is going to be a conflict and a situation that is going to go on for, let's say, maybe the next week, the next couple of weeks here, but it is going to get resolved. The question that we need to ask ourselves next is, well, how much is oil actually going to fall? Because it's probably not going to fall all the way back down to these levels that we were seeing before I flipped bullish on oil here, right at that low $62 area. So this situation can still have some medium-term effects on the global economy here, which again is why we aren't seeing the market just rip to new highs off of this news here. But there are still going to be really solid sectors that we can look for in the market for opportunity as we get closer to the end of this conflict here. One of them that I've been talking about time and time again on this channel here is software. We are starting to see, again, a meaningful shift to the upside out of this really, again, medium to long-term downtrend in software. And if we do see, again, a little bit of consolidation over the next couple of days and really week here in software, again, there's going to be a lot of opportunity out there for, one, not only some pretty significant dip buys for long-term investments, but also some really solid short to medium-term trading opportunities, which obviously I will be handing out to everybody within the LTMP group. So, guys, that is really going to wrap up this video here. Again, if you guys did enjoy the information and analysis that I provided for you guys in this one, make sure you go down and drop a like. Costs you nothing to do it. And then make sure you guys are subscribed as well. Turn on notifications so you're notified every time these videos do end up getting posted live. But hopefully this video was able to give you guys a little bit of a better understanding of what is actually driving the market here and why we aren't necessarily seeing these massive Black Monday red days that a lot of people were forecasting going into today. So guys, that's going to wrap it up for this one. I'll see you next time. Peace.